Hey everybody, Aaron J. Anderson. I'm back on YouTube. Well, maybe not, but I'm doing this video because a lot of people on social media, well, a lot, I would say maybe 7 people asked if I could do a review on how I'm doing the focus stacking that I've been posting on social media. If you haven't checked it out yet, and nobody has because I'm the only person on there, is I created a Facebook group about the Sony a7C. I will put a link in the description, but basically, what did I call it? It's the Sony a7C users. Sony a7C users. Come on over there and follow that and put your stuff in there. What I'm going to do also is once we get up and running and I get more people, we'll probably put other people's photo of the month or week or something on the heading of that, because I like to kind of spice that up with other people's artwork. So check that out. Also, my Instagram, Aaron J. Anderson on Instagram. So focus stacking, in case you don't know what this is the purpose of, because I had a lot of people not knowing, is if I take a photo of a ring and I'm on the Sony a7C full frame camera and I'm using the Sony 90mm f2.8 macro lens and I want to fill the frame up with the ring. I can fill it all the way up if I want, but usually I leave a little space there for advertisements or so that the client can crop it, or just I like to get a pretty shot of other things, whatever. But I'm pretty close to that ring. Like the lens is probably like right here and the ring is probably right here, and at 90mm being that close, that means if I focus on the very nearest part of that ring to the lens, I mean literally only the smallest portion, and we're talking millimeters, is in focus. The rest of it's blurry, even at f11. If you go on the Sony A7, on the Sony 90mm, every camera is different, but typically Sony lenses and the full frame cameras, once you pass f8, it's called diffraction starts setting in, and that is the aperture gets so small, it's the way the light enters that aperture, you get a little bit of haze, fuzziness, or basically less sharp quality out of your images. So f8, f11 is about as high as I want to go on the 90mm. Most Sony lenses are the same. Once you start going up higher, you're going to have softer images. So some people ask me, why don't you just shoot at f22, one shot, boom, done. Well, even at f22 at 90mm, being that close, it's still going to take quite a few shots to get the whole ring in focus from front to back. So that's not ideal, and you're going to have soft images. Shooting at ISO 102 to have the cleanest images, just to let you know. So I'm shooting at f8, sometimes f11, just depending on the ring or the situation it is. And what I was doing is I would focus on the very front part of the ring, closest to the camera, and then I would take a snapshot, and then I have to physically focus a little bit more, so the focus is, millimeters further away. Take a shot, focus again, take a shot, and with the lighting setup that I have and shooting at f11, that means I have to lower the shutter speed quite a bit to have a proper exposure. And what that means is the image is going to be dark. So the only reason to get around that is being at ISO 100, and I don't want to raise that up to get noise. I need to slow down the shutter speed. And it depends on what I'm at, but usually I'm at like 1/5 of a second, which is really slow, on a tripod, and if I were to focus and take a shot with my hand, that would probably shake the camera and get blurry images. So I had to put the 5-second timer on in camera. So I focus on the first part of the ring, I would push the shutter button, I wouldn't touch it, it would count down to 5 seconds, take a shot. Then I would focus a little bit more, and I would do that around 30 to 50 shots per ring. So you can imagine how long that would take, 5 seconds between each. And then if I'm halfway through and I accidentally bump the tripod, or sometimes the ring will fall over or something, I got to do that all again. It takes a lot of time. So other camera manufacturers like Panasonic, I used to use Panasonic. Some people told me Nikon, Olympus, and Fuji has it built into the camera, which is nice because you don't need no other software. You set your whatever, you click it, and it focuses and takes a shot, focuses, take a shot, focuses. It does that for you. And I do know that the Panasonic cameras then will combine all those and merge those together, giving you a nice, completely sharp image of your object, in this case a ring. Well, the Sony doesn't have it. I mean, it took them years just to give us the interval timer in the cameras to do time lapse, and well, we're still not having the automatic focus racking ability. So there was no way around it. Now there is a company that makes a device that you hook up, and I don't remember the company. It is expensive, and it's just another device you need. So I was searching online, and I found the B8 stack, little piece of software that some really smart guy wrote. I'll leave the description in the link. And with the own Sony remote app, this is for PC, that works in conjunction to automate the focusing a little bit, taking a shot, focusing a little bit, taking a shot, all the way through. So now I'm going to show you, just the programs and then how I stack those in Affinity Photo. And not a tutorial on how to get amazing shots, just the equipment involved. And that's amazing because now all I have to do is focus on that front part of the ring after I set it up, which I'll show you in a minute. And all I have to do is hit it one time, the shutter button, and now it automatically focuses shot. And because I'm tethered to the laptop, the JPEGs and the RAWs are being added as it shoots. So when it's done with the 50 shots or whatever you want to choose, then the photos are already there, and then I focus stack them. So go into your menu, go to the Network tab, that's that little globe at the top, and on page 1, if you go down to PC Remote Function, make sure you go ahead and turn that on. As you can see, it's here. A PC Remote Control method is USB. I don't think I even messed with that, but you just want to make sure that's on. And I don't think I did anything else on these. Just to let you know what I have here, it's a still image save destination PC camera and PC save image size original. I forget if I changed those, but those are the settings I have, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Okay, here we are on the desktop of my Windows 10 laptop. This is the laptop I use to do the focus stacking. What you're going to want to do is take your USB-C to USB 3.0, I think, cable that probably came with your camera, your Sony a7C. And what you're going to do is you're going to stick it in the USB-C, whatever that's called, on your camera. Stick it in there, and you're going to hear the connection wizard, or whatever you call that thing anymore. And what you want to do is, after you've downloaded the Sony Remote app, you're going to click on it, and it says the camera is not connected. Check the USB network connection. We'll just give it a second here, because now I'm going to turn the camera on. And you heard that sound there. And we should see it pop up here in a minute. Let me lower that so we don't need it. And if you don't see it, just hit refresh. And there it is. Once you see your Sony a7C, you're going to want to double click on it. And it's going to connect to it. Now don't forget that in the menu of the camera I showed you, you have to turn on PC mode on, or PC control, or whatever. I showed you already how to do that. But here we are. So I've got the camera connected, and this is the Sony Remote app. If I take a photo, it will send a photo to the computer, just like normal. That's nothing different about this. But where things get really interesting is to automate my focus shot, we need the app called, let's bring it up, B8 Stack. And this is a very old app. This was done years ago, maybe 2018 or something, but it still works with the Sony a7C and the Sony 90mm f2.8 macro lens. Once you got this up and you've got this up, this little app is what's going to tell this app to take a photo and to rack focus. Now this is very important. You want to make sure that your camera body is in manual mode and that your Sony 90mm is in auto mode, the lens itself. And if you look at the front, I don't have the lens here, it's at the studio, but if you look at the front of your lens, it's like a clutch on the Sony 90mm. And you need to, I think, pull forward. Just look, there's writing on it. Make sure that the lens is in auto mode, but the body is in manual mode. Now, if you're trying this with another lens, I do believe you're going to have a lens with an auto or manual focus switch of some sort on it, so that you put the lens in automatic and you put the body in manual. So that is a key thing you must know with changing the menu to PC mode. Okay, So once we got this up, I'm just going to tell you the settings that I use, and it's going to vary depending on your subject matter, your focal length, how close you are, all those different things. But I'm going to take you through this really quick. So step size right here is how big of a step do you want the lens to focus. Now we're talking about very small millimeters focus racking. So I tried these different ones, and what works best for me, it's a trial and error thing for yourself, your lens and all that stuff, is I keep it on normal, because small was like way too small. I had to take like hundreds of shots just to get through the ring. So normal worked great. Step direction, I always focus on the nearest part of the ring closest to the lens. So I'm going to go near, and then it's going to focus further out into the scene basically. So near to far. And then steps per frame basically is a multiplication of what normal or big or small is. So normal, trial and error, I put this on, I don't even know what the mathematics are here, but I put it on 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks. And that just means that it's going to step a certain amount of millimeters forward. Okay, so I don't know how else to explain that, but that works for me with the 90 millimeter. And then on frames, this is how many photos do you want to take? Well, you know, if I just took one photo, if I just put this on 1, then and I press go, it's just going to take 1 photo. If I press, if I put 100 on there, it's going to take 100 photos, meaning it's going to rack focus, take a shot, rack focus, take a shot 100 times in this case. I typically go with 50 because this process is so easy and so quick that even if the focus goes past it, I just delete those. I won't be able to show you because I don't have my 90 millimeter here, but I put that on 50. Cycle time, basically, I think that's after it takes a shot, when does it take the next shot? I just leave it like that. And you want to make sure you put, check this off. It says only focus step, no capture. So I don't know why this is here, but if this was checked, it would go through the process, but it won't take any photos. So you want to make sure that's checked is off. Okay, so let's just make this, this isn't going to work, I don't think, with my 50 mil. We're going to find out together, but this is just a Sony 50 millimeter f1.8. But let's just put it on 10, and that's all you got to do. This does nothing else for me. What it does do is it helps me, if I can put, let's see if let me put this in, let's just see. Okay, let's just, I should be in, okay, I'm in manual focus. So what I do now with this big screen you're seeing is I basically, let's get something a little more interesting here. Something a little more whatever. So what I'll do is, as you can see, I am focusing on the very closest part. I'm not even in minimum focus distance on this lens. So you can see the rest of it's blurry, but that little USB sign is in focus. So I'll focus on that, but I will, let's see if I go the right way. Yeah. Okay, so I'll focus on that, and I notice that when I press go, it'll jump in a little bit and then start racking, which I always get the front of the object blurry. So once I focus, I do this on a tripod, by the way. This is just showing you guys. Once I focus on the very front part of the lens, or the object, sorry, I will back focus toward myself a little bit to where it's like blurry like that. So then once the focus starts, it'll punch in, and then it'll just keep going in. So make sure you focus on that and just focus toward yourself a little bit so that first frame actually will jump forward and get the frame, okay? So I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see what happens with this 50 mil. I don't think nothing will happen, but we're going to give it a try. If I click on go, okay, it's actually doing its thing. So you can see I let it go. I feel it focusing, so it's actually working with this lens. This is not a macro lens, but you can see that it focused forward, took a shot, focused forward, took a shot, and it's really fast, as you can see. And what happens is it automatically gets sent to my computer, and the Sony viewer will automatically open up. I think you have to download that separate too. It'll automatically open up with all of your racked focus photos, okay? Let me put the camera down. And what we have here is all the photos. Now, I have my camera set up to RAW plus JPEG, but since I'm in a controlled environment, I literally don't need the RAW files from this. So what I do is I put JPEG, so now I'm only seeing the JPEGs. And what I do is I go to the end. Now we're not going to get a good example of this, but let's say I took 50 shots, and if I click on these, I'll see, like, you know, maybe this was the last sharp one at the very edge, and then of course it kept rack focusing because I did 50. Well, I'll get the first shot that is past my object, and then I will shift control right click and I'll go remove selected items. So now I know that the very last photo, the very end of my object, which would be this wireless go thing, would be in focus, because I don't need anything focused after that. I just want this object. And likewise, I go to the front. We don't have a lot of photos here, but likewise I'll go to the front and make sure you can use the arrow keys to jump forward. So what I do here is if I double click here, this is all handheld, so it's not going to look good. So just double click up here, and then I use the arrow keys to keep going forward until I find the first sharp shot, and then I will right click and shift control and then remove those as well. So that's how I get the shots. So then you're going to, once you get all those, you're going to need to stack those now. We can lower these. And what I usually do is I'll just make a folder just on my desktop here, and I will right click the first one, shift control, left click those, and I will drag them up into the folder. And you can see that they left the viewer, so I just hide that because I'm going to do more work, whatever. And so now I've got, you know, the very first part of the ring or object in focus all the way through all the 50 photos or whatever to the very end of that that object. So then what we want to do is use a program to stack those. There's many programs that do that. You can use Photoshop or whatever, but Affinity Photo, if you're watching this video as of March, is it March or February? No, February 14th, 2021, Affinity Photo for the PC is actually on sale for only $24. It's 50% off. So go grab yourself a copy of Affinity Photo, and you can also get it for the iPad. Now, okay, let me just go with this. So we double click on Affinity Photo. Now I just started doing this Infinity Photo just 2 days ago on the PC, because I would always do this on my laptop with FTP. So what we want to do here is go File, and we go to New Focus Merge. We want to add photos, and now we can go to that new that folder that we collected, left click and then shift and control, then right, and click on open. And they come up in here, and then you click on OK, and that's literally all you do. Of course, we're not going to get anything good here, but it's automating it. It's going to, if you did make one photo a little crooked or whatever, it'll, you know, match it all up and all that stuff. So there we go. We got that. Now we can cancel that, and that will be your perfectly in focused image right here. And then of course you could do all whatever you want with it right here in Affinity Photo. However, I like using the iPad to do all my photo fixing with the iPencil, or whatever you call it, Apple Pencil, because it's a joy to use. So once I stack everything in here, I might do a couple little things in here if I have to, but usually I don't. What I do is I go File, and then you can go to Export, and I export this as a JPEG, and here's all your different settings. We can export this, export it anywhere, just put, I don't know, Final or whatever, and then we export it, and then it exported out, and then here we go, we have the final. So this will be not the final because I got to retouch it and stuff, but the stacked photo is all right here. Now to get this to my iPad, just in case you need to know this, if you download the AOMEI back upper, you hook your iPad up to your laptop with, you can use the same, you know, the same cable that comes with your charger for your iPad. You know, it's a Firewire, whatever it's called. I don't remember the terms. Stick it into your USB of your laptop here, and if we double click on this, this is a free program also, and you could, what do you want to do? Well, we want to transfer to iPhone, but it would be my iPad. So when I click on that, even though it says Pro and Upgrade, it is free, and then it says transfer data. If you click on this, we can go over to the desktop, we go to here. There's that final image. I click open. I'm not going to do it because it's just going to do it. And once you click on open, it will transfer pretty quickly to your iPad if that's where you finalize your stuff like me. And that's about it. So there you have it. I did that really quick as I could. I had to explain a little bit for those of you who don't know why you'd want to do this, because I've had lots of questions on Facebook about this. But anyways, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I hope I can answer that. And if you tried any other cameras, any other Sony cameras and or lenses, let me know. It worked on the 50mm, I just found out with you guys, and it works on the macro 90mm. Let me know. And I will see you on the next video. I do videos about every year now, so I'll see you next year. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.